Did you play this war of mine for the 5th time and now you're asking yourself, what caused the war? And if you didn't even care, I did. So let's all buckle up for this ride. Within the game This War of Mine, you're able to play the role of a civilian caught up in the Granzi civil war, where you must survive the siege of Pogoren. Now your first question might be, what or where is Granzi or Pogoren? This is never covered by the game, but it wouldn't be far-fetched to guess that the countries based in Eastern Europe, the Slavic world, or a post-Soviet state. We can see this from the apartment block and the people. Of course, I think I put down my script. This has led to some debate within the This War of Mine community. Some people think the conflict takes place during the 90s, in which most to all post-Soviet conflicts arose. Other fans think the conflict takes place in a modern setting. This opinion is supported by the fact that the burnt out tanks you see represent modern Russian tanks like the T-90, which were used during the conflict. Some people who play this game might not know this, but there are two ethnic groups within the game This War of Mine. One being Gravian and the other one being Vicini. According to the This War of Mine game wiki and items left across the game, Vicini separatists proclaimed the formation of the Republic of Vicina. The mostly Gravian government didn't even care. Wait, they did? It seems like they both cared so much that they'd kick off the Granzi Civil War. At first it was protesting that would lead to riots, which could have been provoked by any side. These riots would then lead to crackdowns and then full-scale fighting across the country. One case of full-scale fighting would be the Battle of Gravia, in which rebel and civilians were killed alike by government forces. This doesn't mean rebel factions were innocent. Rebel factions committed atrocities. In one unit's case, they would kill anyone who looked suspicious to them. As the conflict continued, government forces were able to slowly push towards the Vicina's Republic capital. As this happened, the last batch of lucky civilians fled the city with UN forces. A few days later, the city was surrounded and placed under siege by government forces. When the city of Pogoren was placed under siege, not only were rebel factions placed under siege, but also civilians. The siege takes from and copies off real modern war sieges, especially the siege of Sarajevo. For those who don't know about the siege of Sarajevo, the siege of Sarajevo was a siege that lasted for 3 years during the Yugoslav War. The siege was plagued with snipers' attack on mostly Bosnian forces, civilian and UN forces alike, along with the constant shelling of civilian zones. The whole Yugoslav War was just a stew pot of war crimes and ethnic cleansing. This is repeated in Pogoren, mostly from Granzi forces, from the use of snipers at Sniper Junction to the indiscriminate shelling of civilian areas. Even the background of the city is a copy of the unit's towers in Sarajevo. It appears while the city was under siege though, Vicene rebels were able to hold out in the city and in some cases push back government assaults. This doesn't mean the whole Vicene faction is under siege in Pogoren, as fighters outside the city try to organize counterattacks into the city, but it appears that they were very unsuccessful at the start of the game. It's unknown how much land does any side hold. As fighting for the city would become a grueling stalemate, this could lead to two endings of the war. The community will work on a ceasefire deal between the Granzi government and the Vicene separatists, with the possibility of a long-term peace deal. The first step would be international troops coming into the city of Pogoren to lift the siege. In the other ending, the international community tends to be less aggressive towards a peace deal. Due to this, the Gamorrean Federation announces that it would undertake the task of protecting Vicene people from Granzi persecution, and to a certain extent claiming that they would end the civil war within a week. The Federation would then roll into the city unopposed by any side. It's unknown who won the war, if anyone won the war. In my opinion, it's most likely that the country was split into two, like what we saw happen in Yugoslavia, but on a smaller scale. But that's just my thoughts on it and not lore. If you like the music in the background, then go check out this dude's YouTube channel because he made a lot of good This War of Mine guitar melodies, and I'd recommend listening to them because holy crap, they're amazing. Once again, thank you for watching. If you want to subscribe, why not hit the subscription? If you want to subscribe. If you want to subscribe, click on the subscribe button thingamajigger, please. And also check out whatever my newest upload is because I don't know what I want to do with my YouTube, and yeah. And remember, Bozistan Zindabad.